Hi guys, and as you know, this is Kaisa. And a couple hours ago, around 3, I uploaded a video with the Stork Diaries book. But I got off track. I was trying to do some cleaning and stuff, so I didn't get a chance to do it. Like I said when I described the video, I said I was gonna do it in tomorrow or in a couple more minutes, but I didn't do it. Excuse me. So today I'm gonna be Wonder. You guys might know this book. Some people might really want to read it, so I decided that I might really want to show them what the book is about. And if you don't mind, I'll just tell you. It says, August Augie Pullman was born with a facial deformity that prevented him from going to school on a mainstream school until now. He's about to enter the 5th grade at Beecher Prep, and if you've ever been the new kid, then you know how hard that can be. This thing is Augie's just an ordinary kid with an extraordinary face, but he's convinced his new classmates that he's just like them, despite appearances. It's by R.J. Pelosia. I don't really know her name, but yeah. I love Wonder. We're actually reading it in class at school, but I am really curious about what's happening. I'm on part 3, which is about summer. I'm also going to be doing parts in this book since it's kind of long. It's not really a chapter book, but it has some titles. It's kind of like this one without the chapter, but it had some titles. And so I'm going to be doing the same thing with these books. Okay, so let's start reading. Wonder. You guys can comment below if you can't see it like I said in the other video. If you guys can't read it, then just tell me. Part 1, August. For fate smiled and destiny laughed as she came to my cradle. Natalie Merchant, Wonder. It's in quotation. Wonder. Zoom in a little. I know you guys probably can't read it, but I'm just going to read it so you guys can get an idea. Ordinary. That's what it says right there. I know I'm not an ordinary 10-year-old kid. I mean, sure, I do ordinary things. I eat ice cream, I ride my bike, I play ball, I have an Xbox. Stuff like that makes me ordinary, I guess. And I feel ordinary inside, but I know ordinary kids don't make other ordinary kids run away screaming in playgrounds. I know ordinary kids don't get stared at wherever they go. If I found a magic lamp and I could have one wish, I wish that I had a normal face that no one ever noticed at all. I would wish that I could walk down the street without people seeing me and then doing that look away thing. Here's what I think. The only reason I'm not ordinary is that no one else sees me that way. But I'm kind of used to it how I look by now. I know how to pretend. I don't see the faces people make. We've all gotten pretty good at that sort of thing. Me, Mom, Dad, and Dad, Via. Actually, I take that back. Via's not so good at it. She can get really annoyed when people do something rude. Like for instance, one time in the playground, some older kids made some noises, but Via heard and she just started yelling at the kids. That's the way she is. I'm not that way. Via doesn't see me as ordinary. She says she does. But if I were ordinary, I wouldn't feel like she needs to protect me as much. They see me as ordinary. And Mom and Dad don't see me as ordinary either. I think the only person in the world who realizes how ordinary I am is me. My name is August, by the way. I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking, it's probably worse. Why I didn't go to school. Next week I start 5th grade. Since I've never been to a real school before, I'm pretty much totally and completely petrified. But it's not that. It's because all of the surgeries I had, 27 since I was born. The bigger ones happened before I was even 4 years old, so I don't remember those. But I've had 2 or 3 surgeries ever since then. Some big, some small. And because I'm little for my age and I have some other medical mysteries the doctors never really figure out, I used to get sick to school. I'm much stronger now, though. The last surgery I had was 8 months ago, and I probably won't have to have any more for another couple of years. Mom homeschools me. She used to be a children's book illustrator. She draws really great fairies and mermaids. Her boy stuff isn't so hot, though. She once tried to draw me a Darth Vader, but it ended up looking like some weird mushroom-shaped robot. I haven't seen her draw anything in a long time. I think she's too busy taking care of me and Via. I can't say I always wanted to go to school because that wouldn't be exactly true. What I wanted was to go to school, but only if I could be like other kid going to school. Have lots of friends and hang out after school and stuff like that. I have a few really good friends now. Christopher is my best friend, followed by Zachary and Alex. We've known each other since we were babies, and since they've always known me the way I am, they're used to me. When we were little, we used to have playdates all the time, but then Christopher moved to Bridgeport in Connecticut. That's more than an hour away from where I live, in North River Heights, which is the tip top of Manhattan, and Zachary and Alex started going to school. It's funny, even though Christopher is the one who moved far away, I still see him more than I see Zachary and Alex. They all have these new friends now. If we bump into each other on the street, they're still nice to me, though. They always say hello. Have other friends too, but not as good as Christopher and Zach and Alex were. For instance, Zach and Alex always invite me to their birthday parties when we were little, but Joel and Iman and Gabe never did. Emma invited me once, but I haven't seen her in a long time. And of course, I always go to Christopher's birthday. Maybe I'm making too big of a deal about birthday parties. I can see that you guys can't see, but how I came to life. I'm going to read this last chapter. Then tomorrow, I'm going to make a part 2. I like when Mom tells this story because it makes me laugh so much. It's not funny in the way a joke is funny, but when Mom tells it, Via and I just start cracking up. So when I was in Mom's stomach, no one had any idea I would come out looking the way I look. Mom had Via 4 years before me, and that had such a walk in the park. Mom's expression that there was no reason to run any special tests. About 2 months before I was born, the doctors realized there was something wrong with my face, but I didn't think it was going to be bad. They told Mom and Dad I have a cleft palate and some other thing going on too. They called it small animal disease. There were 2 nurses in the delivery room that night I was born. One was very sweet. The other, Mom said, did not seem at all nice or sweet. She had very big arms, and here comes the funny part. She kept farting, like she'd bring Mom some ice chips, and then fart. She checked Mom's blood pressure and fart. Mom says it was unbelievable because the nurse never even said, "Excuse me." Meanwhile, Mom's regular doctor wasn't on duty that night, so Mom got stuck with this cranky kid doctor, and Dad nicknamed Doogie after some old TV show or something. They didn't actually call him that to his face, but Mom says that even though everyone in the room was kind of grumpy, Dad kept making her laugh all night long. When I came out of the stomach, she said the whole room got very quiet. Mom didn't even get a chance to look at me because their nice nurse immediately rushed me out of the room. Dad was in such a hurry to follow her that he dropped the video camera, which broke into a million pieces. And then Mom got very upset and tried to get out of the bed to see where they were going. But the farting nurse put her big arms on Mom to keep her down in the bed. Excuse me. They were practically fighting because Mom was hysterical and the farting nurse was yelling at her to stay calm. And then they both started screaming for the doctor. But guess what? He had fainted right on the floor. So when the farting nurse saw that he had fainted, she started pushing him with her own feet to wake him up, yelling at him the whole time. Excuse me. What kind of doctor are you? What kind of doctor are you? Get up, get up! And then all of a sudden she let out the biggest, loudest, smelliest fart in the history of farts. Mom thinks it was actually the fart that finally woke up the doctor up. Anyway, when Mom tells the story, she acts all of the parts out. She acts all the parts, including the farting noises. And it is so funny. Mom says the fart nurse turned out to be very nice. She stayed with Mom the whole time. Didn't leave her side even after Dad came back and the doctors told him how sick I was. Mom remembers exactly what the nurse whispered in her ear when the doctor told I probably wouldn't live through the night. Everyone born of God overcomes the world. And the next day, after I had lived through the night, it was that nurse who held Mom's hand when they brought her to meet me for the first time. Mom says by then they had told her all about me. She had been preparing herself for the seeing of me, but she says that when she looked down into my tiny, mushed-up face for the first time, all she could see was how pretty my eyes were. Mom is beautiful, by the way, and Dad is handsome. Via is pretty, in case you are wondering. Christopher's house. I was really bummed when Christopher moved away 3 years ago. We were both around 7 then. We used to spend hours playing with our Star Wars action figures and dueling with our lightsabers. I miss that. Last spring, we drove over to Christopher's house in Bridgeport. Me and Christopher were looking for snacks in the kitchen, and I heard Mom talking to Lisa, Christopher's mom, about my going to school in the fall. I had never, ever heard her mention school before. What are you talking about? I said. Mom looked surprised, like she hadn't meant for me to hear that. You should tell him what you've been thinking about, Isabel, Dad said. He was on the other side of the living room talking to Christopher's dad. We should talk about this later, said Mom. No, I want to know what you were talking about, I answered. Don't you think you are ready for school, Augie, Mom said. No, I said. I don't either, said Dad. Then that's it, case closed, I said, shrugging, and I sat in her lap like I was a baby. Then, I just think you need to learn more than I can teach you, Mom said. I mean, come on, Augie. You know how bad I am at fractions. What school? I said. I already felt like crying. Beecher Prep, right by us. Oh, that's a great school, Augie, said Lisa, patting my knee. Why not Via School, I said. That's too big, Mom answered. I don't think that would be a good fit for you. I don't want to, I said. I admit, I made my voice sound a little babyish. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, Dad said, coming over and lifting me up out of Mom's lap. He carried me over to sit on his lap on the other side of the sofa. We won't make you do anything you don't want to do. But it would be good for him, Nate, Mom said. Not if he doesn't want to, answered Dad, looking at me. Not if he's not ready. I saw Mom look at Lisa, who reached over and squeezed her hand. You guys will figure it out, she said to Mom. You always have. Let's just talk about it later, said Mom. I could tell she and Dad were going to get in a fight about it. I wanted Dad to win the fight, though a part of me knew Mom was right. And the truth is, she was really terrible at fractions. Driving. It was a long drive home. I fell asleep in the back seat like I always do, my head on Via's lap like she was a pillow. A towel wrapped around the seatbelt so I wouldn't drool all over her. Via fell asleep too, and Mom and Dad talked quietly about grown-up things I don't care about. I don't know how long I was sleeping, but when I woke up, there was a full moon outside the car window. It was a purple night, and we were driving on a highway full of cars. And then I heard Mom and Dad talking about me. We can't keep protecting him, Mom whispered to Dad, who was driving. We can't just pretend he's going to wake up tomorrow, and this isn't just going to be his reality. Mom whispered to Dad, who was driving. We can't just pretend he's going to wake up tomorrow, and this isn't going to be his reality because it's not, Nate. And we have to help him learn to deal with it. We can't just keep avoiding situations that. So sending him off to middle school like a lamb to the slaughter, they answered angrily, but he didn't even finish his sentence because he saw me in the mirror looking up. What's a lamb to the slaughter? I asked sleepily. Go back to sleep, Augie, Dad said softly. Everyone was staring at me. Let's go, I said suddenly crying. Honey, Mom said. She turned around in the front of the seat and put her hands on my head. You know, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But we spoke to the principal there and told him about how you and he really wants to meet you. What did you tell him about me? How funny you are and how smart you are. When I told him you read Dragon Rider when you were 6, he was like, wow, I have to meet these kids. And I'm sorry, I have to go. I really have to go. Part 2 is coming out tomorrow, or I might read a few minutes after. Okay, bye. Love you.